Hello, Scorpio. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's read. For the main part of the read, I'm using the Gendron Tarot by Melanie Gendron. The website is usgamesinc.com here in the top if you're interested. Supportive Oracle cards, Whispers of Love, and it is by Angela Hartfield and artwork by Josephine Wall. I do have some websites for them. Well, there's the one. Blue Angel Online, is that what it was? I think it would stick in my brain by now. BlueAngelOnline.com. So if I can get this on there right. Feel free to freeze frame if you want that information, of course. Blue Angel Online. Okay, cool. Alright. What do we have for Scorpio? Scorpio. Okay, that's good. No? Alright, that's one. When I was shuffling, like, the energy got really rough for a second, and I'm like, why? Why? Your cards are fine, but the towers around you and stuff. And the Five of Wands. A little bit more. Don't stop yet. How many of these did I get? 5. That goes right over that. That's the 5th one? Yeah. No. I feel more of a protective energy with this one. It says, treasure your loved ones. I feel kind of a protective energy with this one for you. And I'm seeing the King of Cups, which don't get caught up in the gender, but it's kind of like, what I feel is a more stoic energy with it. Kind of like, I got this under control. People are not going to trigger me. I'm not allowing it. You seem to like in your very strong moment. Like, I know, Scorpio's strong anyway. I get that. But this is one of those moments where I know people are trying to trigger me. And I'm not allowing it. Every now and then I mention Paul McKenna. The book I'm thinking of is How to Mend Your Broken Heart, I think is what it is. There's exercises that you can do in your mind to take the power away from other people trying to trigger you and to put that control stronger and more stably in your control. Especially, like, I'm a Pisces, so I'm a water sign too. And it's just kind of like pulling that power down, pulling it back so that other people can't, like, use you to their benefit, because I feel like, especially with us people who are more emotional, people can do that. If they realize what your triggers are, they can hit it just right and boom, there it goes off. It can be a challenge to keep it under control. Just in case if that's a thing. If it's not cool, but like it might be something that you want in your arsenal for emotional well-being. Yeah, no, you know people are trying to trigger you. You know. I feel like you know. You're like, no, I see it, and I know who it is. They get a little creative, though, sometimes. Let's be aware of that. Sometimes they pull people into their aid, if you know what I mean. The Empress, and then the Four of Swords. No, you got this under control. You got this. You do. I'm just giving you that Paul McKenna book as like something just to make it stronger for you. That there's other benefits to that, too. You definitely have this under control. And you're taking this into a whole new level. I'm getting the universe, like, this is like going from grade school to high school. This is how this feels to me. Where I grew up, there's a lot of little grade schools around. I think there was 3 of them. And then when you go into high school, all of them merge into one. That's kind of how this feels to me. Like, we got more things coming in. This is going into a whole new level. Dynamics are going to change. Things are going to shift. The way, like, also for me, going from grade school to high school, in grade school you were led from class to class, even though they started training you for, like, this class shift. In high school, you were expected to get yourself from class to class on your own, and if you didn't, then there was repercussions for that. But there's, like, it's that type of shift. Like, we're staying in the same category, we're staying in the same subject. It's almost like, you know, if it's a work situation, it's whatever you're used to doing, you're going into this group of people, and you're going to, the way you're connecting into this new group of people, it has some new dynamic. You might have some added responsibilities. There's a lot of blessings coming in here. This is a very interesting, very, very interesting card here. Very interesting card. this is working for you. This is totally like, this feels great for Scorpio for me. When I'm seeing this, I find this a very curious card because the scene here looks like it's a nighttime scene, right? But the way this one star is shining, it almost looks like it's supposed to be the sun. And it wouldn't be the nighttime if it was the sun, right? So it's clearly not, but it's so bright that it feels like it's the sun. I feel like that's Scorpio's energy. Kind of like, it may technically be night, but you work through this like it's the middle of the day. You're like, I see everything, I got everything going, I got everything under control. That's how this next section's going to go. That's how this next section's going to go. Everybody else is wandering through the night, and you're like, it looks like you can walk through it like it's middle of the day. You're like, I see everything, I know where things are, nothing's surprising me. I got it all on lock. And you got the Ten of Cups backing it up. Kind of like you're going to help people come together. You're going to protect those that deserve protecting or need protecting. Not in the sense of like you're standing back here with a sword, like I will smack you people, back off. Not like that, but more like, you know, certain people need a little extra guidance, or certain people get a little like emotionally off balance. You're going to help keep those people in line a little bit more to help more success come forward. Because if their energy stays more stable, the whole project stays more stable, and you get better things out of it. And you're going to be more in a position where you can see it coming before it actually happens. So you can preemptively kind of shut things down or smooth things over and kind of like, let's get them in proper perspective before they go out of hand and go haywire. A lot of beauty coming in with this. Is there travel coming in here? You have the ability to shut down the discord. I don't want to say that that's on you. There's people who have to come to terms with the change. This is on the other side, love who you are. But there's this boat feel, and this beauty is coming in, and there's a lot of conflict here that's backing this up. I feel like you could help preemptively bring this energy down. The Five of Wands, it's a minor arcana, which tells me that this energy is alive and well here, and that it might not be, it's not like a one incident thing, it's kind of like a constant concern. There's people that I feel like they just tend to take things defensively, if that works. You know when some people they read through posts on Facebook and they get, you know, bent out of shape about most things they read because it's almost like they take it as if somebody said that directly to their face, like they were saying it directly to them, as if it was an insult directly to them, even though it may have literally nothing to do with them. That type of energy is what I'm getting. And I feel like when you address it and see it, with Scorpio, I feel like you can understand it, but you can also step back and be like, that has nothing to do. Like, I feel like you've been in those positions where maybe you kind of felt that way, but then either you learned that that wasn't about you, or you've kind of stepped back and go, wait a minute, that has nothing to do with me. And you've kind of maybe even stepped back further and going, why did that trigger me? You can see that for that reason, you can relate to it, you can see it in others. And that's why you can kind of like, okay, before that goes somewhere, how about we get that under control? It's almost like before they even see it, it's almost like, you know, this Facebook post, they're going to see it sooner or later. Before they even see it, let me just go track them down, and maybe I'll thumb through it on my phone and I'll give a reaction to it to try to, you know, set them up for a more stable, positive response to it. Kind of like help them see a better way before they get upset with it, before they get offended by it. Kind of like give a better way to handle it right off the bat, and kind of start maybe teaching them in a coaching sense, you know, how to kind of step back and kind of like not take it personally. Maybe it's not so much taking it the wrong way, but not letting it trigger you, that type of thing. Because like you keep dealing with this triggering energy here, and I almost feel like there's other people that you might have to kind of coach to not be triggered and teach them how to not be triggered. Which maybe that Paul McKenna book will help you help them. So I feel like that's what you're doing, because there's a lot of this going on around you. This energy's weird. There's fire. You got the Ten of Fire, you got the King of Fire, but then you got the Tower, and you got the Ten of Pentacles. The Pentacles is like the foundation here is always, somebody's always messing with the foundation. a lot of this is going on around here. Somebody's always messing with the foundation. Somebody's always trying to knock it over. It seems like it constantly has to be fixed. Maybe the foundation isn't as secure as it should be, but it's even when it's fixed, it's never quite right. It's just never fixed quite right. It's like the ground it's built on, it has a lot of sand, and it's just kind of like no matter how much you try to stabilize it, this is not the place this should be. So it's kind of like constantly trying to fix it, constantly dealing with the errors because it's literally built in the wrong place. Something like that. It's just constantly there. Scorpio can handle it. I know y'all can handle it. But be aware of that energy because I feel like there's always a... It's just never rebuilt right. It's just something is wrong with the base part of the situation, and it just seems like the actual problem, the true problem, like the place being, like the building being built in the wrong spot, is never actually addressed. It's just there's always a problem that just, and you might be aware of it. You might be very aware of it. As you're stabilizing things, I feel like if you're not aware of that now, like well, look for it and see if that's really true for this situation because it's saying you can stabilize this in a very secured way, but addressing that the foundation will always be erred. So it's kind of like you're looking at it in the sense of like if you get to that point, of course, the building is not going to stay. It's not going to stay the way it should. It's always going to give at some point. So like we won't build it too high because of that. We're also not going to spend too much money on certain pieces because we're going to have to fix them anyway every now and then. We're going to kind of like we're going to change how things are done. Instead of having one big building, maybe we'll have 4 or 5 smaller buildings. That way, you know, maybe we get longer life out of these buildings because we can't seem to move out of this space. We're still in this space and the foundation isn't right. So that way, maybe we don't have to keep rebuilding the whole building over and over. We can just see if maybe a different spot works out better. We can use that to our advantage. You got a lot of diversity of ideas. Restabilizing it in a better way. I feel like you're kind of also segregating things out. When I see this one building going into 5, I feel like you're also, that's one of the ways you're kind of controlling the situation. You're kind of trying to split it up a little bit. It's still a part of the main whole, but there's like if these pieces work more independently of each other and more like they just kind of like maybe switch maybe responsibilities every now and then, they can still be very effective, even more effective maybe, and they don't seem to have a negative effect on each other as much. It seems like that happens in certain family dynamics. The whole can get along for a short period of time, but if for the majority of the year people are off doing their own thing and they just like maybe 3 to 4 times a year in certain times, they just come together maybe for a day at a time. They can keep their bonds, they can keep things going well, and then they can step back and they can relax and just let people live the way they need to live without becoming more agitated with each other, but still keep those bonds alive and healthy. It's just some people just those flat out just don't get along, not because anybody's a bad person, just because they live their lives differently, you know, not for nothing. It doesn't mean anybody's bad. And I feel like this, whatever's going on with this mix of people I'm getting, it's just like, it doesn't work well. That's the best I could say. If this reading is hitting, I don't feel like I even need to explain it, because if you know what it is, you're like, yeah, no, I get it. I feel like you completely know what I'm talking about. Because the group as a whole, whatever it is, that foundation, there's only so much you can do with it, and you know it. That's why you know exactly what that is. But segregating it out, bringing it together on occasion, segregating it out, bringing it back on occasion, might be the way to go for long-term success. That way, when things do come together, I feel like people get along better. I'm also noticing the moon here with the people getting along, which this is another thing. I feel like this is a family dynamic a lot of times. If you only get together 3 to 4 times a year, hopefully it's spaced out a bit, not just in one piece of the year, but, you know, everybody has to do what they have to do. People tend to, like, they romanticize how the relationships really are, and they tend to get along better for short periods of time. But the moon is saying you don't see what's really there. It's kind of like seeing what you want to see versus what's really there, which is a double-edged sword. It can get along a lot better. I'm also getting this, this reminds me of my grandmother, what are these, Japanese lanterns? I don't know if that's the correct name for those, but that's what she told me they were called. That reminds me of her, kind of like, you know, wanting people around, getting along with people, but like sending people home when things get a little bit too much, or shutting a party down when you feel like, oh, things are starting to look a little bit rough. let's shut the party down now and everybody can just go home before there's a problem. So also regulating it that way, kind of like, okay, things are starting to get a little, oh, time to go, guys. I got things going on tomorrow. Sorry, you don't gotta go home, but you can't stay here. Gotta go. Sorry about it. That might be a thing going on there too. That may be just advice and ways to handle that. I think we're good. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below with the same email. Thank you again for watching, and have a great day.